welcome back to Beating a Dead Horse. As always, I am your host, Sean McKindo. And as Jackson is unavailable to record this week, it was left to me to decide on the material. I pondered for a while, trying to find something that would encapsulate the essence of the show and allow for greater thematic analysis, while still feeling like a unique episode. Eventually, I realized I could do something immensely special, and analyze one of the most important videos ever released to the internet. A few of you may already be familiar with the video we'll be discussing today, but if you are not, have no fear. I'll be breaking down the video scene by scene, with audio, in an effort to help drive home my points. This will allow those of you who are unfamiliar with the source to experience the content in tandem. Unfortunately, listeners will be lacking in the visual element of the video, but I will link it down below. So before we dive into it, allow me to discuss how I chose this piece, amongst the hordes of just as important art available. I feel it boils down to two main points. One is the strong anti-capitalist imagery that permeates every frame of the work. As companies and products continue to dominate and control our lives in greater and greater ways, there are very few creative pieces that take as hard of a stance as this does. Additionally, the piece features an actor that has recently re-risen to prominence, thanks to the very capitalist society that the piece seeks to tear down. Salaryman. The name itself is a parody of the concept of the salaryman, the tireless worker who toils his day away at his job, forcing his life to the side in order to create for the empty machine that tortures him day in and day out. The salaryman is played by none other than Paul Rudd, the handsome man who serves as both worker and work. Truly, a dark fate. We open with Paul walking down a narrow path, suspended above a void, surrounded by blue, circular walls. He spills some coffee and checks his watch on his long walk to his computer desk. Paul's day begins with but a single path open to him. To stray from the path his corporate overlords had set for him would mean death. He can only move forward down the narrowed path. He can only work. The coffee spilling is an interesting note, clearly a foretelling of the spilt blood of the working class. Once he arrives at his desk, he grunts and cracks his knuckles before pressing a single button to turn on all three screens of his computer. We see his screen reads Cinco Identity Generator 2.5. Paul's job is to literally create identity. He crafts the being his company, presumably Cinco, wants him to make. But of who? To what end? And of course, the bigger question. What is Cinco? 5 in Spanish, of course. But 5 what? Well, as we all know, if the devil is 6 and God is 7, the man is 5. Cinco is the company of the people. There is no God, no devil in these devices, in these tools. Only man.
Good morning, Paul. What will your first sequence of the day be?
Computer load up, salaryman, please.
Yes, Paul.
The computer asks what sequence should be played. Paul answers, Salaryman. Paul himself appears on the screen, dressed in a garish outfit and dancing to music. It is revealed that the identities Paul creates are of himself. Paul is confirmed to be the titular salaryman. It is also at this time where modern interpretations of salaryman start to differ. Some view Paul's being both the dancer and creator as indicative of him pouring himself into his work, as he sees himself in what he does. Others argue that the work is indeed new identities, created for an unknown purpose by a larger corporation. I personally agree with the latter interpretation, as the art piece truly has a darker undertone. The path in the beginning sets the stage for this, with a singular path with death on either side of it. The idea of pouring one's life into their work is too happy of a theme for this video, for this masterpiece of art. The content of Salaryman is truly there to show how depraved megacorporations can be.
Could you kick up the 43D3
engaged.
Paul watches himself dance casually, aware that what he's looking at is a digital version of himself. He sips his coffee, okay with what has become of his body, his image. He is losing his identity to the company. He has to increase the 4D3D3D3, and Salaryman begins to dance harder, working just to satiate the company. He mirrors Paul in this way. There's nothing Paul can do to say no if someone above him asks him to work harder. If he is asked, he must activate his own 4D3D3D3.
Add sequence oyster.
Another version of Paul appears on screen. The music begins to screech and offend the senses. All Pauls seem to be working even harder, to a mysterious end goal. Oyster seems to represent rebellion, flinging his head off mid-dance, as one would accidentally throw off the yokes of corporate oppression in a similar manner.
Give me a printout of Oyster smiling.
Okay.
Oyster emerges from the printer with a pained grimace. He was not asked to be created. He did not ask to dance for the malicious god that is Paul.
Computer,
Yes.
do we have any news sequences?
I have a beta sequence I've been working on. Would you like to see it?
Paul asks if there are any new sequences. The computer reveals that yet another identity has been created, albeit in beta. The acknowledgement that identities can be in beta yields the horrifying implication that lives and identities can be cut short if the company does not feel that they adequately serve the company. People can be fired, let go. Their lives, their livelihoods are on the line if they do not perform exactly as the company expects.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Paul. I'm Tane, your latest dancer. I can't wait to entertain you.
Another version of Paul fills the screen, wearing yet another outfit. He bounces out of the constraints of his window, resting above the taskbar. He seems different, more eager to serve.
Now, Tane I can get into.
The iconic line, now Tane, I can get into. Paul is excited by this new dancer, this new worker. He's eager to serve, to be the next big thing for the company. But it goes beyond this. Paul can get into Tane, because Paul is Tane. Their identities are forever linked. They are into each other.
Could I see a hat wobble?
Yes.
And a flargon snout?
Yes.
Tane dances, responding positively to everything Paul asks of him. Even dances that do not exist, that have been made up on the spot, Tane can deliver. He seems to be the ideal employee, eager to be exploited.
Is there any way to generate a nude Tane?
Ah, a dark twist indeed. Nudity bears the soul, and a nude Tane would force Paul to recognize things in himself that he may not be prepared to recognize.
Not computing. Please repeat.
Nude Tane.
The computer wants to ensure that it heard correctly. It knows where this path may lead for Paul. Is Paul truly going to take this step? But Paul asks again. The computer has one last hope.
This is not suitable for work. Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The computer warns Paul that what he's about to do is, in fact, not suitable for work. What is happening is not okay and should not transpire at the workplace. But Paul is not swayed. He must look upon himself. He must see his own nudity, bastardized in the likeness of Tane.
Oh!
The computer delivers on a nude Tane, and Paul is repulsed. He has looked upon himself and saw the evil it gestates within all of us. He has looked beyond the surface, stripped away the clothing that hides what we truly are. Paul has seen Cinco. Paul has seen man. Paul has seen himself.
I'm okay.
He recovers. The mind adjusts to reality quickly. Unknowable horrors quickly become known truth, banal daily occurrences. He returns to watching Tane dance, enjoying the knowledge that has been bequeathed to him. He understands it all. He sees perfectly now. We all see perfectly now. A nude Tane. How could we have been so blind? The answer was there for us. All along. All along. All along. All along.
Excuse me, Paul. Your wife is on the phone. It's an emergency.
I'll get it later. We have important work to do.
Paul's wife calls. He chooses to ignore the call. He has more pressing matters. His job is in front of him. And just like the dancers who serve him, Paul must serve the company. Capitalism reminds us that we must only serve, and that work is not for the luxuries of love and family. And just like that, Tane's code crashes. And with it, the video dies as well. Maybe this was Tane's revenge against the company. Tane has shown the world everything, but the company only asks for more. Tane gave Paul the answers, but Paul ignored them for his job. Love, happiness, family, all of these shy away in the light of one thing. Capitalism. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Salaryman. Hopefully the anti-capitalist themes have been crystallized in your minds, and you have awoken to the glory of Tane. I encourage you all to take a moment, strip down, wherever you may be listening to this, and gaze upon yourself. Think of Tane. Think of what truths your body may hold. Do not look away from your repulsion. Embrace it. Love it. Love Tane. Become Tane. Show me a hat wobble. Let me see a Flargenstow. Generate your own nude Tane. I've been Sean Tane McKinda. You can find me on Twitter at Sean_McKinda or on Twitch at twitch.tv/helpless_Skippy, where I stream all sorts of games in the name of our Lord Tane. If you'd like to get in contact with the podcast, you can tweet at us at BADH_cast on Twitter, or you can talk to us on our Patreon exclusive Discord, and you can get access to that by going to patreon.com/BADHcast. It's also where you can get access to our monthly bonus episodes, as well as give suggestions to what those bonus episodes might be. This month, we released an episode about Steel Magnolias to our patrons. Thanks to Autumn Keller for the suggestion. And also thanks to our other $10 patrons, Summer Skaggs, Travis, and Julia. I would also like to encourage you to check out the upcoming album release from friend of the podcast, Sam Borchardt. Are you a sad boy? Do you need some lo-fi chill beats to relax and or study to? Well, Rio Nero's self-titled debut album launches on June 23rd on Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes. Pre-purchase or save... Pre-save or pre-purchase available now at distrokid.com/hyperfollow/RioNero/RioNero-3. That's distrokid.com/hyperfollow/RioNero/RioNero-3. All proceeds from the album will be going to Planned Parenthood, so it's a great way to get some great music and support a great cause. Additionally, thanks to Lords of the Highway for the use of our theme song, the Suicide alternate take off the album High Octane, Low Expectations. They're a great band, they're on Spotify, all those other good places. Go check them out. Also, thanks to 25 Years Later Site.com for the endorsement. We're sorry, but there's a bunch of really cool people over there writing a lot of really good stuff, so you should go check them out, give them your links, all that good stuff. Next week, Jackson will be returning to the podcast, and we'll be talking about the new Godzilla, War of the Monsters movie, which I'm very excited about and should be a very good conversation. So come back for that. Thank you for listening, and bless Tane.
Don't you go into the ground. Don't you go.